Well, hello, Ken.
Hey, Paul, how are you today?
I'm really good. It's really nice to hear from you, and you're sounding loud and clear. And where are you at the moment?
At the moment,
Mm-hmm.
I'm at my home.
And where's your home?
And I hope you don't hear my little pups. I'm sorry?
So whereabouts are you
What'd
based?
you say, Paul?
Where's your home?
Okay, I'm in South Carolina now.
Wow. That's fantastic. And where are you from originally?
And as they say, it's lovely here.
Yeah, that's cool. But you don't come from South Carolina, though, do you? Where do you come from originally?
No. Detroit, Michigan.
Michigan. I think I've heard the place. Is that... they played a bit. They played a little music.
Come out of Detroit.
They played a little music
Oh,
there.
yeah.
60s, I think, in the 70s, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I came out of Detroit, and that's where I got my foundation. Schools, public schools of Detroit, man.
All right. So, you started your career with the chairman of the board, yeah?
I come from Detroit, Michigan, and in Detroit, man, it's a musical. I mean, it's known as the musical capital, as I'm concerned.
Uh-huh.
And of course, you had the Memphis sound, you had a Philly International sound, but you had that Motown Detroit sound, and that's where I cut my teeth. I mean, it wasn't unusual to bump into someone from the Temptations, from the Four Tops, or I remember when I was 12 years old, the Motown Review was going around, and for at that time probably 55 cents, you could go in and Motown Review, and man, and when that band struck up, I was hooked. I was hooked, Paul. And it was fantastic growing up in Detroit. Because, hey, I didn't want to work in the car factory. I wanted to be a musician. And thank God I chose to be a musician.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot. Berry Gordy worked in the car factories, didn't he, before he set up his record company?
Story has it, yes.
Yeah.
He did some boxing, and he worked in the car factories, and I mean that's a heck of a story.
And we all know what Berry Gordy achieved, which was fantastic for the city of Detroit, and you were growing up at that time, so that must have been some amazing experience, really.
It was. I mean, if you're riding in a car, with a buddy, turn on the radio, all you heard was Motown. I mean, you turn the knob, there's the Temptations. You turn the knob again, there's the Supremes. And you know what I'm saying? The Berry and Motown had complete control over the city of Detroit as far as music.
Yeah. Fantastic. And so now you joined a group called the Chairman of the Board, I believe.
Yeah, man, that was one of the best days of my life, because when I was in school, I was a big fan of the Chairman of the Board. I used to go see the guys perform, and when I had the opportunity to join the group, man, that was the best day of my life.
Wow.
And I still cherish that till today, Paul.
That's fantastic. And obviously the lead singer and I guess one of the founders of the Chairman of the Board was the legend in beach music in USA and a legend in Northern Soul in the UK, the great General Johnson. So tell me a little bit about the General.
Well, the thing about General is he's very likable. I mean, he was a genius, heck of a talent. He was a triple threat because he could write them, he can produce them, and sing them. So he's a triple threat. But as far as a human being, he taught me a lot. He was a great person, man. I mean, he was a people person. He loved people, and he was just so smart, so intelligent. There was nothing that he couldn't do. I mean, he was well versed in everything. I mean, sports, politics, whatever. General was well versed in everything, and you know, people loved him. Even today, you know, I still receive emails from people saying how much they miss him, and it's the same here. I miss General a lot. And don't forget Danny Woods. See, I met Danny Woods first before I met General, and Danny Woods, same thing. One heck of performer. I mean, there's none better as far as I'm concerned. But I met Danny first, and that's how I got the audition, because I was in a local group in Detroit. We had a record out, and Danny Woods came to the concert that we were performing at, and at the end of the show, he said, "Look, we're reforming the chairman of the board. We want you guys to come and audition." And that's what I'm saying. And I made the audition, and that's where I met General. And General and I and Danny, we were together, about 37, 38 years.
Wow, that's amazing. And Danny Woods is still doing it. Danny Woods is still doing it, isn't he?
Danny's had, on a smaller scale now, because Danny has had some health issues, and he had to cut back, and so he's not out there like he used to be. So it's still in his heart, it's still in his soul, and Danny's still the man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a, you know, when the two things that was great about the chairman of the board was the fact that when you heard a song, you said, "Oh, that's chairman of the board," because you heard General's voice.
Yeah.
Or you heard Danny's voice, you said, "That's chairman of the board." So, and that's still, I mean, you can't, there's not too many groups you could say, "Hey, I know who that is," you know. But man, we had a magical thing with General Danny and myself and Harrison Kennedy, actually.
Fantastic.
You know, Harrison Kennedy, you know, he's over in Canada, and when we had the tribute for General, Harrison came down and sold it in the right to a tribute we had for John. And it was great to see those guys.
Yeah, I'm sure it must have been amazing, that. Yeah. Actually, going back to about 1970, 71, one of the very first records I bought was You've Got Me Dangling on a String. There you go. By the chairman of the board.
My God.
Yeah.
Listen.
Go on.
Go ahead, Paul.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, man, I was just saying, Dangling on the String, man. That song. You know, we're in a music where they call beach music. I'm in the area where they call it beach music. That is one of the favorite songs of the fans down here. You've Got Me Dangling on a String. It's a heck of a song. And so that was your first record you bought?
One of the first ones, yeah, one of the very first ones. And I'll tell you what, we had some like soul gigs in even where I live, my hometown of Brighton, which is on the south coast of England. We have soul gigs, and that still is well received, and it's always been a favourite in the northern soul clubs. It's just such a great song, and I think you also recorded Patches. I think that might be the other side of that record, actually, was Patches, which was a hit for Clarence Carter, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was a big hit for Clarence Carter. I mean, it was on the Chairman of the Bulls album, but it didn't really do anything. But the producer for Clarence Carter heard the record, and they didn't have Clarence's voice. I mean, even though General did the amazing job, but Clarence, okay, I was saying that General received a Grammy Award for that song,
Really?
for writing Patches.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he did. And he was very proud of that Grammy, as he should be. But yes, that was a huge hit for Clarence Carter. I'm pretty sure it was his biggest hit.
Yeah, I think so. Well, certainly this side of the
date.
pond. Yeah.
Right. So Jim was very, very proud of that song.
Wow. My favourite song, I think, other than You Got Me Dangling on a String, was Bless You, which was, I think, was the B-side over here, certainly, to Everything's Tuesday. But Bless You is such a great sound, and subsequently I found out that's what beach music is, isn't it? That's it.
That type of feel, yeah. I mean, but you know, people all over the country, they mention "Bless You." I mean, it's a great song as well, and it's something about the feel of that song that lends ear to beach music. Because the fans down here, they love that song as well. In fact, we had a song out called "Bless Your Heart."
Oh yeah.
That I think we released over in England.
Oh, really?
Yes. I think back in the maybe the 90s or early, sometime this decade, we released "Bless Your Heart" there.
Oh, okay. That's great. So who is with you in the group then, Ken?
I recruited Thomas Hunter, who's a heck of a singer and a heck of a writer. I also have Richie Figueroa, who's is a good performer. And the one thing I did keep was our backup band. They're called the Executives, and they have stayed with us, or stayed with me through thick and thin. I mean, when General passed, they told me, "Ken, we're behind you 110%. And those guys have been with me since when we were traveling, with Joe and Danny and myself. So
Wow.
The new situation is a great situation, and man, I'm happy. I'm very happy.
Yeah. So you've had a couple of records out, haven't you? The great song that we've been playing here on my show is called "You."
Oh, great! Listen, Paul. General wrote all our songs. He wrote everything because how can you can't compete with a writer like that.
No.
So my job, General and I sat in the studio when we recorded albums. We produced the albums together, but General wrote everything and arranged everything. Now, I knew I had to come out with a record, and I remember the day of the week. It was on a Sunday night, and I was dilly-dallying with my iPad because now people create songs off an app called GarageBand. Have you ever heard of that?
What's that called again?
It's called GarageBand. It's on an iPad.
Yes, I have heard of that. Yes.
So that's where a lot of the writers come up with the song. So I'm sitting there, and I'm music, and I felt like General's presence was sitting next to me because all of a sudden little parts would